What's up guys, and welcome back to another video on the MF Automotive YouTube channel, and today I bring you a review on the 2020 Mercedes-Benz CLA. Now, the Mercedes lineup in North America has become pretty complicated in the last few years, growing from just a few models before to now a whole plethora of them. And this has made it somewhat of an arduous task to remember their hierarchy respective to their class. In the past, the lineup consisted of the C-Class being the entry-level offering, the E-Class being the larger, more opulent one, and the S-Class being, well, the luxury at the very top. And yes, there were a few additional oddball models like the B-Class and of course the larger offerings like the G and GL, but these models for the most part made the brand. Today, however, the C-Class is no longer the entry-level offering, as that honor was initially given to the CLA, but then later redacted and now lives in the hands of the A-Class when it was brought here to North America. Now, I am in no way faulting Mercedes for extending their lineup. They have to move with the flow in this growing marketplace, which, well, is full of competition, and in order to turn a profit yearly, changes are anything but quintessential. They are a business after all. With all that, let's get back to the topic, which is of course the 2020 CLA in front of you. Now, the 2020 model represents the second generation of this sports coupe. Yep, that's what Mercedes refers to the CLA as, a coupe, and even bundles it in with the other coupe offerings in their lineup. This unique distinction allows the CLA to compete in a class of its very own, but this also means that the CLA kind of now lives in an awkward space. See, the CLA used to be the entry-level model for many years. But now with the A-Class having that distinction, the CLA is kind of awkwardly in the middle of the A-Class and the C-Class. But I beg to differ, because I had some complaints with the original CLA. It looked great on the outside, but the interior was seriously lacking and the ride quality wasn't the best. However, fast forward to the second generation, Mercedes listened to everything the critics had to say and really implemented it, and the second generation CLA is definitely an improved piece of kit. So it has to be asked, is it really worth making the stride to the C-Class, or is the CLA enough to satisfy that void? A big thank you to my friends over at Select Auto Center located in Toronto, Ontario for giving me the opportunity to start. Let's get all the technical specs squared away. So powering the CLA is a 2-liter turbocharged inline-4 which produces 221 horsepower and 258 pound-feet of torque, with Mercedes giving a 0 to 62 mile an hour or 100 kilometer quoted figure of 6.3 seconds. Power is routed through either the standard front-wheel drive layout, or you can select the 4MATIC all-wheel drive system. It was available for an additional $2,000 back then, and telling the two models apart is as simple as locating the 4MATIC badge on the back. However, if you are in Canada, or if you were in Canada back then, all-wheel drive was the only choice you had. Transmission choices are also limited. The only thing you can choose is a 7-speed dual-clutch unit, which is activated by the touch of this lever located in the center console. Or drive modes allow you to configure the feel of the car with eco, normal, sport, and dynamic, affecting things like speed, steering feel, and allowing for faster shifts. All this comes neatly packaged in a car that weighs just shy of 3,400 pounds and which had a starting price of $36,650 US or $43,000 here in Canada. And at that price, you actually get a lot of neat standard features like a panoramic roof, memory seats, folding rear seats, and all-wheel drive if obviously you were in Canada. Canadian-made cars also got the sporty treatment on the outside, whereas across the border, you had to opt for the AMG line package to get a similar effect on the outside. But being a German car, you can't forget the additional add-ons, and this particular car is equipped with quite a few actually. Keep it short, this car, all decked out, stickered for right around 49,000 Canadian. Comparing that to the C-Class of the same year brings forth an interesting decision. The C also gets the 2-liter turbocharged inline-4, however produces more power with 255 horsepower and 273 pound-feet of torque. It also sprints to 100 kilometers an hour or 62 miles an hour in a claimed 5.9 seconds. Like the CLA, 4MATIC is standard in Canada, but rear-wheel drive is standard across the border. Transmission is a 9-speed auto unit also operated by a column-mounted shifter, and it also gets 4 drive modes, which include Sport Plus this time around, which merely affect the car's character in the same way. The C is also slightly heavier at 200 pounds more, if that really matters to you. As expected, the C has a higher starting price at $46,400 Canadian or $41,400 US, in which you get some standard features like liquid sensing wipers, LED headlights, memory seats, and more. Equip a C-Class similar to the car in this video and you'll be spending upwards of $54,000 Canadian. On the outside, the CLA sports a low-slung silhouette in line with its coupe distinction. Its lower stance and streamlined design make for a more fun, in-your-face type of look. The headlights and taillights are LED, like the ones in the front being the optional multi-beam ones, which fit into the CLA's youthful design. AMG-branded wheels fill in the wheels perfectly and make for the perfect stance. The C, on the other hand, sports a more mature look, switching curves with a more traditional design, which is, well, more pleasing to look at. On the inside, the CLA's interior is nothing short of, well, spectacular. It features the latest design language from Mercedes and the two horizontal display setup first seen on the S-Class. Materials are up to scale with leather lining the dashboard and a combination of Alcantara plastered on the door inserts. The center stack is minimalistic with a row of horizontal buttons which look and feel extremely high class, and the gloss black trim paired with the aluminum colored accents really brightens up the cabin. I have always loved the sporty seats in the CLA, and these don't definitely disappoint. They don't only have great looks but are cozy, comprising of Alcantara in the center and leather on the sides to hold you in around corners. The center display can be controlled in a multitude of different ways, including touching the screen or using two available trackpads, but I chose to opt for the larger trackpad in the center, complete with its own armrest. The system sports a very crisp display, but menus can be hard to locate. Thankfully, everything you use on an everyday basis is logically laid out in front of you. Each cluster display is equally as impressive and gives you the chance to cycle between different displays and what information you find most useful to have displayed in your field of view. A wireless charging pad sits down below, part of that additional package, along with some ports for your CarPlay Android Auto integration. Storage space comes in the form of the split armrest, which opens at the touch of a button. Ambient lighting is a staple of the Mercedes brand and is no exception here, which should be very nice to look at night. Moving to the back, where I am delighted to say that the fancy materials found up front are back here, meaning the Alcantara and leather surfaces. There are vents for rear seat passengers, and seats can also fold down to haul longer items. On the other hand of the spectrum, the interior of the C-Class is quite dated in my opinion. You may argue that it looks better, and that's perfectly fine. Something I can't get around is why Mercedes never gave the C-Class the horizontal screen layout. Surely it should have come amid the mid-cycle refresh, but somehow they chose to give it to the CLA and even the entry-level A-Class instead. Something I just don't understand, but I'm sure there's a logical explanation for it. So, in the end, it all comes down to personal preference. Some may prefer the sporty looks of the CLA to the more mature ones on the C-Class, or some may simply want the exclusive moniker badge of the C. Whatever you choose is sure to be a great car that you will surely enjoy. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.